is a legitimate ancestor of people that were like tribal folks in Brazil in the Amazon.
He looks like it.
He is, man. That's superior genetics, son.
Man, the guy's biography is incredible. I was so happy to see him win. Don't get me wrong. I know I picked Adesanya, but I was so happy to see this man win. Think about this man's life.
Yes, that is the current UFC Middleweight Champion of the world hitting a tire with a pickaxe. So calling Alexsandro Pereira one of a kind is an understatement to say the least. From reconnecting with his tribal roots later on in his life, to facing an alcohol addiction that began at the age of 12 years old, we're covering how the new middleweight champion has lived and still lives one of the most enchantingly peculiar lives you might ever hear of. And you're going to want to make sure you stick to the end of the video to find out about the chilling prediction Pereira made about his championship belt with Adesanya 2 months before the fight had even taken place. Alex Pereira's origins are that of the indigenous native tribe from the Amazon called the Pickaxe. However, Pereira was born and raised in the bustling city, Sao Paulo, in Brazil. Like many other Brazilian fighters, he grew up in the harsh environment of the favelas. Impoverished from a young age, eventually at age 12, he decided to drop out of school to start working in a tire shop, which is where the beginnings of his struggle with alcohol addiction took place.
Nossa, eu tava entrei na bocharia e, pô, a vida é essa, entendeu? A gente lidar com pessoas do bem, mas pessoas que talvez tenham vício ali, não tenham uma qualidade de vida bacana, entendeu? E, pô, a gente vai aprendendo esse tipo de coisa também. Como eu aprendi a trabalhar, ser um cara bacana e tal, eu aprendi também a beber. E isso eu não tive um controle, né, com a bebida. E, pô, cada vez eu ia bebendo mais, cada vez eu ia bebendo mais.
A cheap and popular rum made from sugarcane led Pereira to adopt a common habit and a way of life in Brazil. Very soon, his alcohol habit became a full-blown addiction, trying to quit numerous times, but with no success. Until one day, when he remembered an old saying where taking up a sport could help in combating an addiction, giving him the idea to take one up. All he had to do now was figure out which sport it was going to be. Acknowledging he was no good at soccer, he thought back to what he was good at and the many fights he had gotten into due to his drinking and how well he would handle himself due to his size and strength, giving him the idea to begin fighting. So, in 2009, at the late age of 21 years old, he began to learn and train kickboxing, which would end up being the choice that he claims saved his life. His alcohol addiction wasn't easily shaken, however, despite the kickboxing. As he says, it took 4 years of him kickboxing and trying to quit to reach his goal of being completely clean. Pereira at the time was just another high-level kickboxer, unheard of by those outside the kickboxing niche, unsuspecting that the most impactful moment in his career would at the time appear to be just another win in the sport. In the year 2016, Pereira would unknowingly go on to fight someone who would end up becoming one of the greatest middleweights in the sport of MMA. But to him, it would just be another opponent for many years to come. The man he ran into, of course, was the last style bender, Israel Adesanya. The seemingly unimpactful fight between the two in Glory of Heroes 1 would spark a rivalry like never seen before in the fighting world. Both fought well, but ultimately the decision would go to Pereira. Adesanya would later comment that he believed he won and it was the feeling of being robbed which led to his downfall in their rematch. Almost a year later at Glory of Heroes 7, the two men faced again and it was this that gave birth to the famous Adesanya KO. In round 3, Adesanya was caught clean with a left hook, putting him out cold, making Pereira the only one to accomplish such a feat against Israel in his over 100 fight career. Adesanya attributed his loss to him being impatient due to the fear of having an unfair judgment if it went to a decision, as the fight took place in Pereira's hometown of Brazil. Nonetheless, the two both continued their careers, taking separate paths. Adesanya making his way up to becoming the UFC champion, and Pereira continuing in kickboxing until eventually following Adesanya, where the two would then cross paths again. During this time, Pereira would make history as the only ever Glory Kickboxing 2-division champion. In 2021, however, he would go on to lose his Glory heavyweight title and made the choice to sign to the UFC and no longer compete in kickboxing. Alex Pereira was then taken under the wing of MMA legend and fellow Brazilian Glover Teixeira, training at Teixeira MMA and Fitness in Western Connecticut. It was here Pereira would find a community of fighters that would remind him of his home in Brazil. Glover and his camp were the ones preparing Pereira for his title fight in early November, leading to Glover and Pereira developing a very strong bond over the time they spent together. As you can see, Glover was over the moon after Pereira's comeback win over the dominant champion Israel Adesanya. Many noticed he was more happy about Pereira's title win than his own. The win over Adesanya was not without controversy, however. A divide formed as many believed it be an early stoppage, as many others claiming the referee saved Adesanya from a devastating knockout that most certainly would have taken place.
Izzy was stationary and Pereira was going to hit him some big shots. We don't need to see Izzy with his eyes rolled back behind his head, flat out unconscious. I think it was a good stoppage.
Before we tell you about the chilling prediction that Pereira made before his fight with Adesanya even took place, here at MMA Success we hold a monthly shout out that you can win. Simply comment I sub and you'll be in with a chance. Pereira has become the dark horse of MMA, stalking his nemesis to a new sport, taking his title after only a year in the promotion. A deathly stare, seemingly unbothered by both wins and losses, he has created a new blueprint for what a fighter could be viewed as outside of the stereotypes that already exist. However, one thing scarier than his stare was his prediction for the Adesanya fight in a video made 2 months before the fight took place.
Porra! Convicção, porra! A gente erra, pô. A gente erra em tudo, mas é a persistência. A parada é a persistência. Você viu ali? Eu insisti na parada, persisti, consegui, ó. Esse era o meu objetivo.
Pressão, né? A última.
Com certeza, era a última. Eu falei, é a última, errei bastante.
Perdendo a luta.
Pô, perdendo a luta. Nocautei agora, pô, Atan. Chama. Pá.
Incredible, archery aside, in the video Pereira describes in Portuguese how he might be losing the fight, but he will knock Adesanya out anyway. How his persistence means it's irrelevant whether he is winning or losing. In the end, he will win by knockout. Liking it to how many tries it took for him to hit the football with the arrow, but regardless, still getting it in the end. And those who have seen the fight understand how spot on his vision was. Pereira was losing badly, almost knocked out in the first round, but saved by the belt. Going on to the 5th round, certainly losing, yet, just as he foresaw, it didn't matter. Alex Pereira would go on to win by knockout with only 2 minutes remaining in the 5th to win the UFC Middleweight title against the most dominant champion in the UFC at the time. Pereira's win against Adesanya would also be his biggest payday, receiving a $908,000 paycheck for his performance, made up of a $500,000 base salary, a $300,000 pay-per-view sale bonus, and of course a $100,000 win bonus. Among other things, his previous UFC payday would be $188,000 for his incredible knockout win against Sean Strickland, which included a $50,000 performance bonus. The previous one before that would give him a $77,000 paycheck, and his debut would earn him an incredible $134,000, including a $50,000 performance bonus for his flying knee knockout against Andreas Michailidis. From his professional kickboxing debut to his double champ status at Glory, Pereira is rumoured to have earned around $2 million since the over a decade he competed. Since his induction into the UFC, his net worth has skyrocketed to around $3.4 million, increasing by almost $1.5 million in only 1 year. The added fame and notoriety from being the middleweight champ also means huge increase in opportunity for sponsorship and brand deals deals outside the UFC, so Pereira's net worth is likely to increase substantially these upcoming years. Despite his increased earnings, Alex Pereira's life outside of the cage after becoming UFC champion hasn't changed much. He's kept the same friends, enjoys the same things he always has, the only thing different being the size of the stage he performs on. But Adesanya isn't finished with Pereira just yet, saying how he's now on the hunt for Pereira and will not stop until he gets back what is his. Pereira warning that a fourth loss to him would destroy his career, urging that he should go find someone else to fight for his own sake. Who do you think will come on top if they face again, Pereira or Adesanya? We want to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.